Next.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the July 11th, 2024 annual reorganizational meeting of the Garrison Union Free School District. At this time, I'm going to call the roll. Jocelyn Apicello is excused, yes. Eric Arnold. Here. Jennifer Harrington Wilson. Here. Dan Jasnow.
Here.
Peter Lesser. Here. Ken Schott. Sarah Tormey. Here.
Is there?
There it is. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So this time I'm going to give the oath of office to our newly elected board members. And just to recap, Eric Arnold, Jennifer Harrington Wilson, and Peter Lesser were each elected to a 3-year term commencing July the 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2027. Eric?
I, Eric, right hand, no, or doesn't matter. Okay. I, Eric Arnold, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully perform the duties of the office of the Board of Education member of the Garrison Union Free School District for the period from July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2027, according to the best of my ability. Thank you.
And then you're going to sign. Yeah. Thank you. Jen? I can do it again. Yes, new term.
I know it was my family. My dog would have been excited. I, Jennifer Harrington Wilson, do solemnly swear I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Board of Education member, the Garrison Union Free School District for the period from July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2027, according to the best of my ability. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Gray.
You're welcome. Okay, that's what you're so.
Oh,
Here.
I, Peter Lesser, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the Board of Education member of the Garrison Union Free School District for the period from July 1st, 2024 through June 30th of 2027, according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Here. Thank you.
We're gonna pick her.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
I don't know.
We gotta do that, so we'll do that.
It's a cool part.
It's a cool part.
that's an historical moment.
Yeah.
Yay.
How much kids I did.
So at this time, I'm going to ask for nominations for the office of board president, and all voting must be through public verbal vote. So may I have a nomination for board president?
I nominate Sarah Tormey.
I second that. Do I have any other nominations for board president? Having heard none, we'll declare that Sarah Tormey is Board of Education president for the period from tonight through June 30th, 2025. Congratulations. Thank you so much for your faith in me again. Sarah, I'm gonna go.
You like to support of my trust?
I, Sarah Tormey, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Board President of the Garrison Union Free School District Board of Education for the period from July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025, according to the best of my ability. I know. I made it a little tall. I'm gonna turn over here. All right. Thank you, guys. We are gonna have some fun here. I am gonna go ahead and move on to elect board vice president on the oath of office. Do I have any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Dan Jess.
I would like to second that nomination. Do you have any other nominations for board vice president? All right. No? We'll go ahead and move to a vote on this, Betsy. All in favor? Oh, good. We didn't vote. We didn't vote? You don't vote?
We vote for
We
president.
didn't vote for president?
You're right, we didn't, we should go back.
He said that because it's the only.
Well, that's true, there were no other
Let's-
nominations, but let's go back and make sure that we have a verbal public
All
vote.
right, can I do
For
both
board
in
president.
one? Let's do it, or no?
Let's go back and do president.
All right, can I have
My
a vote
mistake.
for board president? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Abstention. Moving on to board vice president. And our nominee is Dan. All in favor, please say aye. Nay. Dan, thank you so much. I'm really excited to work with you, and I appreciate you volunteering to spend even today.
Yes. Thank you all. I appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to it as well. Hope to do more of these in person.
This works well too. We love seeing you on vacation.
Yeah.
All right. Move on to the appointment of district clerk and administer the oath. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby appoints Dusty Callow as district clerk for the Garrison Union Free School District effective July 11th, 2024 through the annual reorganizational meeting of July 2025. May I have a motion, please?
Somebody.
Second. Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Thank you, Dan. Abstention. Thank you.
I can swear Dan in within 30 days, so when he comes back.
Okay, minister the oath of office. You have your oath.
I do.
All right.
Yeah, we'll just
read that. Go for it.
I, Dusty Callow, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of District Clerk of the Garrison Union Free School District for the period from July 11th, 2024 through the annual reorganizational meeting of July 2025, according to the best of my ability.
Thank you.
So if you want to sign anything else,
All right. Moving on, now we do board appointment of school district officers. Right, I'm gonna read the recommended action first. Be it resolved, Board of Education of Garrison Union Free School District approves the annual appointments of school district officers for the period from July 11, 2024 through the annual reorganizational meeting of July 2025. They are listed here. So I'm not gonna go ahead and, I wasn't gonna read through every list, but I absolutely can if anyone wants me to, because I do love showing how many hats everyone wears in this district. But I was told we want to keep this brief tonight.
I make a motion to approve the recommendation.
Thank you. Cindy, a second. Thank you. All right, any questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nay. Abstentions. Next, we have our annual board appointments list. So can leave this one. This is the fun one.
This is the one you looked.
I know. All right.
No.
So this is a public document. If anyone wants to see, I'm going to read the recommended action. The full list though is available in board docs for, anyone to review, and it does highlight everything from who our auditor is to all the different roles we ask our administrators to fill. With that, be resolved, Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District approves the following consent agenda of annual appointments for the period from July 11th, 2024 through the annual reorganizational meeting of July 2025. May I have a motion, please? Have any questions on any of these appointments? Vote, please.
Who is the manager of support services?
That's me.
That's one of the site.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. It doesn't look as many hats when you have two.
We're trying to split it up. And that is for the Asbestos Local Education Agency designate.
The school has
Yeah.
You get the expenses in the box. They offer you some favors.
He does theirs too. We just don't have to appoint him for that. That's just like fun perks.
There's some bad.
Do you have any other questions regarding any of the annual appointments? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Yep. Nay, abstentions. Moving on to acting principal recommendation. Be it resolved in the event that the principal of the Garrison School is not physically present in the Garrison School building on one or more days or portions thereof during the 2024-2025 school year, that the superintendent shall be acting principal for all short-term student discipline matters pursuant to section 3214 of the New York State Education Law. May I have a motion, please? Thank you. Okay. Do you have any questions regarding the acting principal? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. Nays, abstentions. Thank you, Greg, for adding another role to your hat as well. Moving on to annual board designation. First, we're going to start with the bank depositories. Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District designates the following banks as the school district's official bank depositories for the fiscal 2024-2025 school year. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Again, these are all listed for the public in board docs, should you wish to review them. Do you have any questions from the board? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstentions. Thank you. Next, we have designate official newspapers. Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District designates the newspapers listed below as the official newspapers of the Garrison Union Free School District for the 2024-2025 school year. May I have a motion, please? Thank you. Do I have any questions on our official newspapers as listed? Again, present on board docs for the public. Should anyone wish to read them?
These have to be paid newspapers, right? Is that
Yes.
like how it's current?
That is correct. Any other questions? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay? Thank you, Dan. Nays? Abstention. Great. Next, we have designate water system operator. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District does hereby designate Semco Water and Waste Water Specialist, Inc. as the district's water system operator for the 2024-2025 school year. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions regarding this? The contract will appear later in the year as it's not up for renewal yet, but Joe is happy to talk about our water system operators if anybody has any questions. All right, we'll go ahead and move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. Nays, abstentions. Next, we're going to go on to the designate official bank signatories. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District designate the district treasurer or the deputy district treasurer in the absence of the district treasurer to sign checks for all district accounts except the extra classroom activity account for the fiscal 2024-2025 school year. May I have a motion, please? Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Do I have any questions regarding our bank signatories? Go ahead and move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstention. Moving on to designate educational official. Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby designates the superintendent as the designated educational official to receive court notification regarding a student's sentence education in certain criminal cases and juvenile delinquency proceedings for the 2024-2025 school year. May I have a motion, please? Thank you. Do I have any questions regarding the educational official? No? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstention. Next, we move on to designation of residency determinations. Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District designates the superintendent to make residency determinations. May I have a motion, please?
So,
Thank you. Any questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstention. Okay, we're going to move on to the annual board authorizations. First, we have the signatory authorization for extra classroom activity account. Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorizes the central treasurer or the deputy district treasurer in the absence of the central treasurer to sign checks for the extra classroom activity account. May I have a motion, please?
motion. Second.
Thank you. Do I have any questions? Okay, we go ahead and move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstentions. Next, we have the authorization for district documents. Be it resolved, Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorizes the board president or board vice president in the absence of the board president to sign documents on behalf of the district. May I have a motion, please?
So,
Second.
Thank you.
I don't want you guys to be left out. Jump in.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome to. I don't want them to have all the fun. They've been here before. Do you have any questions regarding the authorization for district documents? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstention. Authorize mileage allowance. Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorize remunerative allowance as per annual, I'm never gonna get it right, for annual internal revenue service mileage reimbursement rate to staff members who use their personal vehicle for school business with approval of the superintendent. May I have a motion, please? That's fun. All right. Do you have any questions on the mileage allowance? All right, we're gonna go ahead and move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Nays, abstention. Authorization to establish petty cash fund. Be resolved, Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorized to establish the petty cash fund and authorizes the district treasurer to maintain the petty cash fund in the amount of $200. May I have a motion, please?
second.
Do you have any questions on the petty cash fund? Where do we keep the money?
In safe. What's the combat? I'm not telling you.
Actually, turn the video off.
All right, any other questions? All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstentions. Authorize association memberships. Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorize the following association memberships, which are listed in board docs. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Do I have any questions on the annual memberships? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Nays, abstentions. All right, authorized transfer of funds. Be it resolved, Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorize the superintendent to approve line item budget transfers within a budget category and any budget transfers between budget categories according to limits prescribed by Commissioners Regulations Section 170.2 and board guidelines up to $10,000. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Oh, this is fun. Do I have any questions on the transfer of funds? Okay. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstentions. Authorized to sell, dispose of surplus property. Be it resolved, Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorizes the superintendent to declare as surplus and dispose of school district property which is unusable or has a value of less than $500. May I have a motion, please?
Motion. Second.
Thank you.
I have a question on this. Very often we'll see lists of items to be declared surplus. Does that mean we don't have to do it if it's valued under $500?
That's correct, but we still usually give you the list anyway.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Go ahead and move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Nays, abstentions. Authorization of conferences, conventions, workshops. Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District does hereby authorize the superintendent to approve staff attendance at conferences, conventions, and workshops as appropriate. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Do I have any questions? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays. Abstention. Did you get that? Good. Dan, can you repeat that?
Aye.
All right, I think I got too excited there. Yeah, I stepped on your line. All right, bonding of personnel. This is a good one. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of Garrison Union Free School District authorize the faithful performance blanket bond coverage for the following personnel as noted. They are listed below and available in board docs. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Do I have any questions on the bonding of personnel? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Nays, abstentions. Indemnification under section 18 Public Officers Law. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby adopts the provisions of the Public Officers Law, section 18, for the defense and indemnification of school district officers and employees. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
Okay, do I have any questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstentions. Committee designations, appointments, and purpose. Committee on Special Education and Committee on Preschool Special Education. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorize the following committee membership for CSE and CPSE as listed in board docs. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
Do I have any questions?
I have a question, or maybe something to consider for a future board meeting, is we might want to have a second possible CSE chairperson, and also maybe have our CSE chairperson be able to chair CPSE meetings. Well, I know we're doing that with housing, in case someone's out for an extended period of time, it would give us the ability to meet the regulations without having to have one.
We can certainly add to our appointments later in the year, once we get everybody settled, and make sure that any alternative CPSE chairs properly trained, because there are some different provisions there. We want to make sure that, so it'd be good to have Regina here and maybe kind of cross-training with somebody else.
So even if it's someone else at Howard.
Sure.
I would feel more comfortable if we had two people in each.
Not necessarily being paid for the role, but available as designated by the board should be right. Understood. And the parent member, just to clarify here, is still to be determined. We're still working on finding some.
And they're not required.
I believe we're required to have one available. Should they be requested?
Right. Sarah's correct. You're required to have one available, but they don't have to be a standing member.
Do you have any other questions? I'm gonna go ahead and move to a vote then. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Abstentions. Annual adoptions and approvals. Adopt impartial hearing officers. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby adopts a list of impartial hearing officers as listed on the New York State Education Department Impartial Hearing Reporting System website, and hereby authorizes the board president or board vice president to formally appoint a hearing officer by signing a letter of appointment. Be it further resolved that compensation will be made according to the maximum hourly rate approved by the State Education Department pursuant to section 44041 of the Education Law. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
Thank you. Do you have any questions on impartial hearing officers? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstentions. Adoption of policies and code of ethics in effect during previous fiscal year, section 806, municipal law. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District approve the adoption of the Board of Education policy manual as currently constituted. May I have a motion, please?
Motion. Second.
Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Just like to make a comment that I'm very up to date, and during the pandemic, you guys helped a lot.
Well, thank you. It was one of my favorite things to do.
But reading motions, so
No, really working with that policy was so much fun.
that was a lot of fun.
It hadn't been updated since 01. So we're in a good place now. Thank you to the committee who has continuously kept it updated. It's been great. All right, any other questions, comments? Great. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Nays, abstentions. Great. Okay, establish capitalization and depreciation threshold for fixed assets. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District does hereby establish $5,000 as the threshold for reporting the capitalization and depreciation of fixed assets in accordance with GASB 34 regulations. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
Do you have any questions? Great. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Nays, abstentions. Establishment of annual rates of pay for substitute and other personnel. Be resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District adopts the rates of pay for the following positions for the 2024-2025 school year. Again, these are listed in board docs available to the public, and all board members have in front of them. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
Thank you. Do I have any questions or comments regarding the rates of pay for substitute and other personnel?
How are these, decided
Oh, that's a fun one.
or set?
Well, I can turn it over to Greg in a minute, but I can speak to a little bit of that and then if anyone else has thought. Some of these are traditional, like we've been carrying them over, like the internal claims auditor, that stipend. It was lower, we brought it up when we were looking for a new one, sort of looking at what other school districts are paying. We, as a district, I really like this practice, have, in order to keep, oh, everybody wave your hands. Sorry, Dan.
In order to keep the lights on?
Yes.
I guess that's what you would say.
Okay. We don't have a director of facilities or a director of transportation. Those are civil service positions. And we would have to hire off the civil service list in order to keep our head count down, which also keeps down how many, employees we have on benefits, able to access our retirement. So how much money we spend. We have divided up some of those roles into stipends. Where we review it every year. It seems to be working pretty well right now. So that speaks to that. And
I think the only other thing, Peter, the board and the superintendent have also done comparisons in terms of what stipends are in other districts in the region and make sure that because, for instance, a transportation supervisor in a different district has, I don't know, 3,000 kids to transport, and we don't have that. It's not a full-time job, but at the same time, we have some really talented people that can do multiple things. So we look at what is a regionally competitive stipend to get the work done and do it by some high-quality individual.
The transportation was actually a really good example. That was one we added this year through the budget process. It was approved through the budget process at 20,000. However, when speaking to Joe's team, they decided to split it up and split up the duties. So it really comes from the people doing the work as to who can handle what and what they think their role should be, instead of top down saying, memorize every road in Garrison. And the substitute teacher pay is something that we've looked at during my time on the board and previous to that as well. And I think we're at a pretty good place comparatively on that as well, correct?
Yeah, that's about the average for the region, $125 a day.
Okay. Do you have any other questions regarding the annual rates of pay for substitutes and other personnel? Okay, go ahead and move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstentions. Thank all of our staff who have agreed to take on more roles. All right, establishment of annual rates for facilities use. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby establishes the annual rates for facilities use as listed in the chart below and on board docs. May I have a motion, please?
Motion. Second. I do have a question.
Yes,
Could
go
I-
for it. We can discuss this one.
This is what we,
Yeah.
so we've discussed this before with the whole idea that should be charging Little League $50 to practice on the field. And then I think I went back to our notes from last year, and it appears that we had a discussion about it and we said we could come back to it, but I don't know if we ever did.
We changed the
Did we
policy.
change it? I can't
See,
remember.
but so it's $50 per year. Dusty, correct me if I'm wrong with this, but however, if you are an organization within Garrett, I don't remember the wording specifically. We'd have to pull that up.
If you're a youth sports organization with Garrison.
That is not collecting money, you're not profit, you're not trying to make profit off this event, then we waive that fee. However, the gym, because that
Yeah.
is a different.
Okay, I couldn't remember if we came back to it.
Yeah.
And I think we actually updated our facilities use.
Oh, that's weird. Are we right on this, Joe?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Sorry. I
No, that's okay.
couldn't remember, and then I went back to notes like, we'll come back to this.
A good discussion one. Are we happy though with the rates we have here? And do we feel they cover the cost? I mean, we have gym and stage. The gymnasium's the part that gets the most use. Is that correct, Joe?
Yeah, there are outside organizations that rent the gym on a regular basis, and that's where the majority of the money comes from as far as the use of facilities.
And that the custodial fees in addition to rental.
Yeah, so if it's the event occurs during a regular business day, there is an hourly charge for the custodian. But if the event is on a day when we're not scheduled to work, like a Saturday or Sunday, we charge overtime for that because we're bringing a person in specifically for that.
And if an event ends at 11, do you charge because will be trying to clean up after they left?
Well, we haven't had that issue, but we would if they needed to. Be. Usually, people that are using it in the evenings are done by 8 o'clock.
Any other questions, thoughts? We're happy with these rates for now. We can revisit this whenever we need to. We made like $3,000 last year or more.
A little more than that, yeah.
And how much do we pay out to custodians to come over to the building on Sundays for 3-hour basketball?
Well,
But that was they pay that.
They pay that.
Yeah.
they paid that, so the $72 an hour covers their rate plus fringe. And then we have the per event fee as well. So we cover our costs and earn a little bit of money by doing it this way. We also do that on a rotation as far as we give people our staff opportunity, pick days that they want, and it's split up. And we haven't had issues with being able to come.
I'm gonna go ahead and move to a vote. If there's any questions or discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Yeah, nays, abstentions. Next, we have the establishment of annual rate for non-resident tuition for the 2024-2025 school year. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District, in accordance with board policy and the regulations set forth by the New York State Commissioner of Education, hereby establishes a non-resident tuition rate for the 2024-2025 school year for non-resident students in the amount of $16,500 per student. May I have a motion, please? Do I have any questions? Yeah.
So last year we charged 16,825. Is there a reason we lowered that?
No, it was always 16.5 for the non-residents. That 16,825 is the amount that we pay for tuition to the other schools.
There is,
16.5.
so
In our notes from last year's reorganization, it said 16,825. So that's what I was asking.
It was, I don't know, we have charged 16.
our non-resident tuition rate for, and I can't speak to, I did look it up, I didn't bring my chart, but for, it is much higher. Should we go to the Seneca Falls formula for K-6, but however, 7 through 12 was dropping a lot lower. So I think we need to make sure we're mindful of that, because if we charge over it, it comes in under, like for 1 year, it was dropped around to like 15,000. It was a couple of years ago, maybe. We would have to then reimburse the families. So I think that's part of why.
According to the minutes from last
Yeah.
year.
So I'm sorry, so 16.5 is about where we land on the Seneca Falls, or are we under that?
No,
So-
that's Seneca Falls is above that number.
What, that's the net.
This number was originally created from being similar to what we want to pay for high school tuition. So we put a rate for this to be comparable to what we were going to pay for tuition. That's
So
how
just
it's
to be fair.
Yeah. And we also comes in under some of our local and private schools as well. So make it competitive. We do hope to attract students.
Yeah.
But Joe has a great website. He can send you the link that if you ever want to look up all the NRT rates going back historically.
Well, I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, it's got a lot of data on it. So, all right. Yeah, I can. All right. Do I have any other questions on our non-resident tuition for next year? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Nays, abstentions. And that brings us to the adjournment of the annual reorganizational meeting. Be it resolved, Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby concludes the annual reorganizational meeting. May I have a motion, please? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstention. Jesse, it's 7:39. It's my fastest time yet. Because I didn't read all those lists that I like to read. One year when we were remote, I read them all, everything. Nobody could stop me because we were sitting in my own space reading all the words. Yeah, I don't think anyone was doing it anymore. But I was actually during COVID, so everyone was paying attention too. They cared what I said. Okay. Now moving on, we have the Thursday, July 11th, 2024 Garrison Board of Education regular business meeting. Go ahead and call this one to order. Do I have any agenda or agenda changes? All right. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby accept the agenda as presented. May I have a motion, please? Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstentions. Board President's remarks. Thank you so much for re-electing me. I'm excited for a fun year, excited to work with Dan, and I want to welcome our new superintendent who has been sitting here for all the fun, and now we get to recognize him. Thank you, Greg. I know your first few weeks have been really exciting. We look forward to hearing more about that, and we're thrilled to have you here. In terms of other remarks, I don't have a whole lot. We're gonna let Greg settle in, and we are going to look to a September date for a retreat of some kind. I would like to start thinking about maybe a Wednesday we don't have another meeting to give you your weekend time and keep that. So we're gonna work on that. Oh, and just reflecting on the end of the school year, I just want to say, I know Carl was able to attend the Haldane graduation. And Carl and I both went over to the O'Neill graduation, which was really lovely over at West Point. It was wonderful to see our students celebrating that milestone. And next year, hopefully we'll have somebody to attend if we have a graduate from Putnam Valley. So that is all I have. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to turn it over to you, Greg.
Thank you, Sarah. And congratulations to Eric and Jen and Peter on your election. And I want to take an opportunity to thank the board for their confidence in me and the community, our staff, our students. Been able to meet with a lot of folks from our transition days to the first few weeks of September or July, excuse me, I'm ahead of myself. And everybody has just been so warm and welcoming and supportive. It's a special place, and I'm really fortunate to be here. But what I'm really here to do is talk about our students. So I want to let everybody know and our community know that our ESY program started July 1st. It is a collaboration between Haldane and Garrison, and they started out very well, and those students are doing fantastic. They were very happy this week when 30 of their peers came for our summer scholarship program, and there's some pictures up there of kids really engaged in some really high quality enrichment activities. We have about 40 students that have applied to be in the summer scholars program, and we had about 30 student attendance this week. So it was off to a wonderful start, and I can't wait to see them next week. I also want to acknowledge, the community heard from me on Friday the 5th that Mr. James Yap is taking a new position in Elmsford as assistant superintendent with a lot of titles after it. So you will be wearing many hats too, James. I just want to take a moment to thank James for all of your hard work that you've done for Garrison. Being a former tech person, I understand what you've done when we spoke. He has really moved the district from a technology infrastructure, from a cybersecurity standpoint, from a curriculum instruction standpoint, really moved us forward. The other thing that James has done, which I'll talk about in a minute, he's been vital to our environmental education efforts. The Youth Climate Summit, and what I'll talk about in a minute, instrumental in us receiving the U.S. Department of Education. So I want to wish James nothing but the best. We have a few more days together. Make sure that we get everything done we need to. And we wish you nothing but success, which we know you will have. So thank you, James. The other thing I want to briefly mention, which I mentioned in my letter to the community, what is our plan? James, as I said, wears many hats, many very important roles that he does well. We're in the process now of trying to find, it may not be one person, it may be a person in some other entities to support technology, support curriculum instruction. We're looking at finding maybe a intern to do some of that role, perhaps somebody who's retired. Right now, we want to make sure that we spend getting somebody in who can hit the ground running and make sure that we don't leave anything on the table or anything fall through the cracks. We'll be able to analyze the needs of the district. Finding someone with a skill set to do all of those things is not necessarily easy, but we think we can do it short term now, and then talk about what we need to do in the future. So that is our plan, and I'll be speaking more about it in the other in the community as that comes, and so support as well. So congratulations, James. The reason that I didn't get to see our kids in Summer Scholars is because, as everybody knows, we're extremely excited that we actually received our Green Ribbon Award this week, actually yesterday, from the Department of Education, a contingent of 3 Garrison folks, Rachel Arbor, Allison, and Meg, all went down to DC and we received your award. We also met with the Department of Energy and talked with them about some wonderful programs. And we met with folks from the Smithsonian who work on environmental education curriculum as well. We got to interface with almost 60 school districts, preschools, universities that all were Green Ribbon Award winners and learned so much from their sustainability practice to their energy management practices. It was an incredible experience. I want to thank this board for their undying support for that work and allowing us to go down there. And I brought the hardware back home. So yes, I wanted to share with the community, and I'll pass it around to the board. This is the actual Green Ribbon Award that we received from the Department of Education yesterday. So it has traveled many states today. It's been in 2 hotel rooms, but it has made its way to the Garrison Union Free School District, and I'll pass this around to the board. Take a look at it. Just so everybody knows, this plaque was developed using sustainable materials and sustainable practices as well. So it is not only beautiful, it is a sustainable product as well. So thank you for the opportunity to just share a little bit about what we've been doing the past couple of weeks. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them, or I'll turn it back to yourself.
Well, I have a question and comment. I just first wanted to thank you for the letters you sent to the community and keeping everyone up to date. I truly appreciate your outreach. And then when you were there listening to ideas on curriculum, did you hear things like anything really exciting that Rachel ever should you plan to incorporate into her STEAM classes or her younger classes this year? Yeah.
I don't
So excited.
I don't think anybody was more excited than Rachel down there. The amount of networking that she did and idea generation, I think is going to pay incredible dividends for the students of Garrison or staff of Garrison. Rachel is amazing. She's one of one in the region, but nationwide, there are a lot of folks doing that work. And I think not only was she able to share some of the wonderful things and innovative things we do here in Garrison, but was able to bring some of that back. So I look forward. I think this is just a step. And I think we have to have deeper, longer discussions about what's our long-term plan in terms of sustainability and environmental education. But it was such a marvelous event.
It's so exciting to hear that there's other people or teachers like Rachel across the country that we can learn from. Do I have any other questions? Dan, just wave at me if you want to say anything, please. I don't want to ignore you over there. I can see you. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and move on. Thank you so much, Greg, for your remarks. Keep this going. All right, next we have board communications and presentations. We have the discussion and approval of a change to the August board meeting. Before I read this resolution, I'll just give a little bit of background. So Dan and I, in anticipation of serving you guys this year, realized we are both away on the current date of August 21st. If you I missed this one last year too. I just know I'm not going to make it back in time this year. So unless anyone's dying to run this meeting, that day we would love to move it back to the 14th if we can get quorum. I can be here. You can be here.
I have to turn.
Okay.
I can be 14th, not 21st.
We'd be really struggling with the 21st, 24th. That gives me 4, so I can't even join remotely. Are you comfortable with that? It's for our tax. It's the fun part. It's a tax warrant meeting. Wednesday the 14th. It would be at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, regular time. At work? So I just bring this on you, but I thought it would be better than calling up somebody at the last minute and keep that meeting.
The county actually wants it earlier anyway, so it's good.
14th is good.
Okay, great. And we'll definitely have a quorum then.
Yes.
All right, the resolved Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby approves the change of the August 21st, 2024 board meeting date to August 14th, 2024 at 7 p.m. and further directs the district clerk to notify the media and the Garrison community of this change. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nays? Oh, I'm sorry.
Dan, I didn't get you.
Aye.
Nays? Abstention. All right, thank you, everyone. I really appreciate your flexibility on that. Next, we have the discussion and approval of the 2024-2025 board operational guidelines. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District does hereby approve the 2024-2025 board operational guidelines as presented. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
All right, these are the same, we've been adopting them sort of the same operational guidelines for a couple of years now. I think one of the fun things to note is that we do all agree that we will try and end meetings by 10 p.m. And for the most part, we stick to that, we do our best.
Does that include executive session?
It does, and that's why we do our best. My first few meetings when I joined, we went past midnight, so.
No, I would say that you run a tighter ship than others.
It's really the seltzer. Okay, so any other questions on operational guidelines? All right, this is just sort of how we work together, best practices, be supportive of each other, have fun. I don't know if that's actually in there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move to a vote if there's no other questions or comments. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Nays? Great. Next, we have the discussion of the 2024-2025 board committee assignments and approval of committee charges. So first, I'll read the recommended action, then we'll talk about. Okay. Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby approves the renewal of the committee charges for the Audit Committee, DEI Committee, Facilities Committee, Finance Committee, Planning Committee, and Policy Committee as presented.
Budget advisory.
And Budget Advisory Committee. Thank you for that catch. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Thank you. All right, you have the charges in front of you. If you have any questions, comments, or recommended changes, now it's time to say something. I'm also going to read out, and I've spoken to everybody about who wants to serve on what committee. So are you ready? I can send this to you afterwards too. So for facilities, Dan has offered to chair this one again with Eric and Ken serving on the committee. Just to preface it, everyone's taking about 3 committees. Dan, because he agreed to serve as vice president, asked to do 2, and he's also leading facilities, which is one of our big ones. Planning, Jocelyn has agreed to chair with Jen and Sarah serving on it. Policy, Jen has volunteered to chair. Thank you, Jen. With Peter and Eric. Thank you both for serving on that. Finance, Kent has offered to chair, and myself and Jocelyn will serve on that one again as well. DEI, Jocelyn has offered to chair, and Eric has offered to serve. We do have an extra space if anybody's looking to pick up an extra committee. But that one also does have faculty, staff, and other members to fill it out. Audit, I'm going to chair this one again. And then Peter and Ken have offered just to serve on this. Budget Advisory, Jen has offered to chair this one again. This is our 2nd year, and it went great last year. And Peter and Dan have offered to serve on this committee. Thank you all. Are we all happy with our committees? Everyone likes them? All right.
How are those run? Like when do we meet?
Oh.
And how's that decided?
Like 10 p.m. to midnight.
Oh, get all done for me.
So the committee chairs, so the ones with faculty on them, so I'm looking at planning, DEI, that's really it, tend to run when faculty is here. So during the day, I haven't served on those before, this will be my first time, so I'll find out. And then the others, it's really about sort of necessary and at the convenience of the committee members. So speak with your chairs about when you're available, and then they work around everyone's schedule. There are certain, like audit committee must meet in September. I believe it's before a board meeting. Oftentimes we set them for like half an hour to an hour before the board meeting. So you can come in early for that. I'll get you that date when the auditors are ready to meet with us. And then again in June to kick off the following year's audit. We can do extra special fund meetings throughout the rest of the year if something comes up. Dusty will produce a calendar.
Sarah, the committees tend to meet 2 or 3 times a year, some meet over the phone.
Yes, it really, like facilities has a heavy lift, I would say. They meet perhaps more often. Budget advisory, I think you ran it pretty tight for like, you kind of had your mission and went with it. So that was.
Yeah, we only had 2 meetings.
So that work is done there. Finance, again, kicks off a little bit later too.
And finance has budget advisory with the month. So we wait to hear from them.
And then, policy, I'm not sure how much it really depended on, it's like 4 meetings.
Yeah, or depending on how many policies come across that need to be considered.
I hope that gives you an overview, but yeah, it should work around what your availability is as well. So, all right. Any other questions on committees and committee assignments? I'm gonna go ahead and move to the charges. Did anyone have any suggested changes to the charges, questions?
So is the keeping of minutes, that's a new thing?
That's a new thing. So this year, we've been discussing this at previous meetings. We are going to start keeping minutes so that the minutes can be shared with the board. And we also do committee reports back from the chair so that we can talk about things.
And the minutes will be part of the official record.
Yes. So there'll be a, yeah. And Dusty offered to teach anyone who volunteers to take the minutes. I think maybe in the first meeting, assign somebody.
Isn't it by 10 year? So I lose on finance. So.
I mean, sure.
And we might also consider using Otter AI. Just starting a meeting, going on Otter AI and doing that as the initial minutes. Because it is public and it's not confidential.
But the minutes for some committees are.
Some of them are not as open to the public.
Right, so ones that are.
Yeah. Look at that. Is it audit committee?
That's finance.
Finance. Audit has a community member on it, but
Surprisingly more community members don't come out.
I've been trying to sell it. I mean, it's like I have a poster board for the grocery store. I feel like some weekends and still no one's coming.
I mean, I wonder if Google, if on the Google workspace now, if there isn't an AI bot that will take minutes from it, because within our Google workspace, then it would be covered under.
It's on right now.
What?
It's on right now.
It's on right now. So,
Okay.
so we might as well leverage the technology to help us.
Sure. And so let's just maybe at first meeting, everyone assign one, figure out how to use it, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. And Dusty offered to help us if we have any technical or minutes challenge.
Doesn't have to be run like rockets.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah. So it's just really about getting the information. Okay. Any other questions on the charges? All right. I'm gonna go ahead and move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Thank you. Now that we have the committees assigned, they can begin meeting as soon as they need to. All right. Next, we're going to go on to a discussion of assignment of board liaisons to Haldane High School, James I. O'Neill High School, and Putnam Valley High School. I will just throw out because Jocelyn's not here. She just specifically asked if we could assign her everything else. She did not say that. She said please don't assign her anything without telling her. All right.
Hold it well.
Who would like, anyone want to volunteer for our high schools?
All kids need to do.
Which one?
All day.
Anyone else interested in one? I'll take Putnam Valley because I will have a student there. I did O'Neill last year. It's their board president. Anyone know?
How many meetings is that?
So the O'Neill one, I think what Dusty's done a really good job of, and we talked about this in the spring, is having our high schools all come to us this year and inviting them instead of having them try and bring us over there or up there to come and present what they're doing, what is their curriculum, what is their program, and making it a more unified approach across all three. So, and that then eliminates these joint meetings that we've had previously sort of on the books. There was a year where I went to a lot of, at O'Neill, they will invite you to all of their meetings if you wish to attend. I know they have a representative from West Point at the table. I've gone through budget season and sat and listened. It is very interesting, but it is a big time commitment. And I didn't do it this year, and it certainly did not feel necessary. It's very easy to stay up to date. Their board president is happy to reach out. It's really with them, it's about as much as we want. To give them so much time. If you want a tour or whatever you need, they will make themselves available. They've been a wonderful partner in that respect. So it does, unless something comes up, I really do think, honestly, Haldane's been the most time consuming given the contracts. So I'll throw that out there. Put me down for, I'll take O'Neill again, if you like. All right, next we have the discussion and assignment of board liaisons to the Westchester Putnam School Board Association and the New York State School Board Association. So I can do the Westchester Putnam School Board Association because I'm on their board already, so I already go to their meetings. NISBA, looking for someone else.
And what is that commitment?
So the NISBA commitment, Dusty can speak to this better. Actually, Dan can. He did it last year. Dan, do you want to share your experience?
Yeah, NISBA commitment was not too bad. There is a convention that you can attend virtually, and you vote on all of the referenda or propositions that, or the resolutions that people put forward for NISBA policy. So it's interesting if you're interested in those types of resolutions, setting NISBA policy. That one meeting is quite long. I think it lasted most of one evening, but other than that, it's not too much of a commitment.
So yeah, we send our delegate basically, who is our representative to the.
So you can have the liaisons as well, and you could have a different board member be your voting delegate, but it makes sense to have your voting delegate also be liaison, which is, I think, what we typically do.
If we had a question for NISBA, we will go to our delegate.
I'll volunteer.
Okay, thank you. NISBA does also have a really great service of, if you just want to ask a lawyer a general question without us going to our counsel, you can just ask, ask the lawyer person. I think a lot of us like that.
And I'll be attending the fall.
Oh, that's perfect.
Because I'm presenting.
Oh, that'd be great.
At no cost.
I love this. Thank you. Just switch hats outside.
Just switch hats.
And then there is a resolutions kit that was put in the library in April when it first came out. And I know we had a very busy spring, so I think we've kind of been quiet about it, but I did include it in the agenda tonight as well, if you want to take a look at any of that. If we were gonna, as a district, submit any resolutions, deadline for that is Friday, so we haven't really got to discuss that.
I think it's useful for next year. We have submitted resolutions in the past, but if there is something we want to lobby for strongly, that is a way to do it. But don't worry, when they release their resolutions, we can discuss them all, look at them. Very interesting. All right. Any other questions on our liaisons? Go ahead and move on to public comment. Public comment is intended for members of the community to speak openly and voice concerns in accordance with policy 1510 of the Garrison Union Free School District. Any person wishing to speak shall comply with all provisions of this policy. Comments about specific school personnel or individual students is a violation of board policy. Concerns regarding students or personnel should be discussed privately with the superintendent or appropriate administrator. Comments should be limited to 3 minutes, and speakers are asked to conduct themselves in a respectful manner. The board will listen to comments but will not engage in dialogue. Any necessary follow-up will be noted and provided through the appropriate channel. Members of the public wishing to comment during board meetings are asked to place their name and town of residence on the sign-in sheet. Commenters will be invited to the podium to address the board. I'm going to go ahead and move on because we don't have a public here tonight, but we welcome hearing from anyone over the summer as well. Send an email, reach out. Our next meeting is now the 14th. Come join us. They're lots of fun. All right. Accept the minutes. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby accept the minutes of the regular meeting of June 18th, 2024 as presented. May I have a motion, please? Thank you. Do you have any questions on the minutes or comments? All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye, sorry.
That's right. Nays, abstentions. Okay, next we're going to move on to the personnel consent agenda. Be it resolved, Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, does hereby approve the items of the personnel consent agenda as presented. May I have a motion, please? Okay. Thank you. All right, Greg, I want to turn this over to you. And if there's any you wish to speak to specifically, please let me know.
Sure, I already spoke about Mr. Yap. Again, congratulations and thank you for all the work you've done for Garrison. I also want to let the public know, and as the board knows, that we're appointing Mr. Beckley as the athletic director, and he served as athletic director for several years. And my understanding from Carl and everybody is that he's done a really remarkable job at that. So he coordinates all modified sports activities for the fall, winter, and spring season. So that's on the agenda. We're also appointing girls and boys modified soccer this evening. And again, going back to many hats, Mr. Beckley will be serving as the boys modified coach. The other issue that we're appointing this evening is we are asking that Ms. Mosier come in as an hourly employee. Ms. Mosier is a certified EMT, and we have students in the building during our summer scholars program and our ESY program. Our nurse is not on staff at the time, and God forbid there was a medical emergency. We thought it would be smart to have a certified EMT on staff. Response times can be varied if we had to call 911. So if we have somebody with that sort of level of skill, and when she's not performing, hopefully she'll never have to, emergency medical services, she can assist in the summer program and in the offices as well. So that is another recommendation for consideration this evening.
Thank you, Greg. Do I have any questions or comments on the personnel agenda as presented? Or move to a vote? I'll just note that I'm excited to see that we have both advisors for both the student government and the 8th grade advisor. Those are separate funds, and the funds we can't access that extracurricular classroom money unless we have those advisors in place. So I'm very pleased to see that, so that when we come to the audit for those funds, we can explain how we're spending them. All right, go ahead and move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstentions. Thank you. Move on to new business. Be resolved, Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, hereby approves the new business items as presented. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Thank you. All right. Any of these you wish to speak to? I can jump in real quick because I think this one came in here before you. Is that the St. Mary's Church? It was really lovely that they made a donation.
They did. I know our ensemble performed in June and did a remarkable job, and really excited that St. Mary's Church wanted to give this donation. So we really thank them for that. They really are remarkable. One of my first experiences here was watching the rock, jazz and rock ensemble practice, and that was remarkable. So we want to thank St. Mary's Church for that. I think there's also GSEP is making a wonderful donation for a counseling suite for furniture that is conducive to therapeutic and counseling environments. So we want to thank them as well for those donations. Very generous and well deserved by our counseling department and our jazz ensemble.
There are others, I skipped ahead of it. I don't know if
Yes.
you wanted to speak to any of the others, and you don't feel you have to.
But if there's any questions, most of them are things that this board has approved before, such as our staff consultant.
I actually have no question on the staff consultant.
Yes.
I was just wondering if the staff consultant ever looks at the high schools that are stacking this for us to make sure that what they've done is in alignment with what should be done. Because they technically are our students.
It isn't part of their main charge, but they are able to confirm whether or not the students are stacked, and all of them are.
I think it would be good to just make sure that everyone who's being placed by a CSE from another high school is being appropriately staffed.
It's definitely something that, as the new superintendent, we can take a look at, dive deeper in, and make sure that we're maximizing any sort of aid on high cost special education students. We can certainly have Matt take a look.
So when we get our bills for the high school students, you can see evidence of the students being stacked as the tuition is discounted by the aid that the schools get.
That might just be a good moment to introduce the idea that, I know you know what these words mean, but,
They're acronyms, yes.
these acronyms, yes, that, we're talking about, we get aid back on these students, and we make sure that that paperwork is submitted correctly. Is that a very general?
So yes, very generally, students with IEPs who typically have a lot of service. Every district has a threshold that you have to pay up to a certain point, but if the cost for that student exceeds that threshold, then there's a formula where you can get what they call special education aid back on the revenue side. So, but it's really important to take a close look at all the services, what's the cost for it, how they're annualized over the number of students that may be provided or that classroom services. So we can take a look.
Thank you. Thank you. Joe, we have a couple of budget transfers
Yes.
on here. Did you want to speak to those?
Yes, so,
Great.
the first one, the June 2024 fee is, to, balance out, some negatives on the BOCES bills and, on the salary lines for the payouts of, vacation pay. And then the second one that's for July is on the new budget year, based upon the development of the original technology budget. Some of the software items that were in the regular line are actually going to be paid to BOCES, so we're moving it from out of a regular budget code to the BOCES technology code.
Any questions for Joe on the budget transfers as presented? The last item on here is our Haldane contract. And you're not throwing confetti over there. Haldane did approve this on their Tuesday board meeting. If anyone tuned in to watch Carl's first meeting, which I did. I thought he might want notes, so I figured I'd just like, watch. Anyway, he did a great job. They had a very nice warm up for him, but this is our 5-year contract. It does set the rate. The rate is the same as our other two high schools. And it sets a date for us to, this only sets a rate for next year's 8th grade, who will start in 25-26. For the cohort after that, we will again need to negotiate a rate. So Ken, I'm looking to you. We're gonna start negotiations hopefully in the spring with the goal of having a rate again by July 1st. This is a clause that Haldane feels is important to them to keep the negotiations in, but just means we get to talk to them.
Hope we'll let Carl get there.
Sure.
You might.
I'm happy to work for this.
I'm very glad.
I appreciate it.
One question on this one.
Yeah.
So the language that I think had been a snag previously in this contract about the extra fees for students with special needs, I see that there's some language in there about, looks like it was further negotiated that, what is the language? We will pay for anything, costs incurred by Haldane in providing special education. Let's see, such additional costs are limited to costs that Haldane would not have incurred but for the Garrison students' attendance in the Haldane schools, and exclude services that can be provided with existing staff. So did that come out of further negotiation between council, or where did that piece come from, and how does it differ from what we saw last?
Dan, that's a great question. Carl and I talked a little bit about that language to make it make sense for, and then council was able to hammer out language that did what we wanted to do, which is make sure that any existing special education services or providers that are over there, we're not getting billed for, but that if there are, and we've had this conversation multiple times, it makes a lot of sense. And also there's a dispute resolution clause in there. Joe and I looked at this language, we're comfortable with this language. Adding the dispute resolution portion allows us to have further conversations if we think something was existing and they don't. So I think this is a pretty fair way to kind of look at it. And Joe and I will look at the bills very closely when they come in.
And there's language in there about sharing the IEPs. So we're not waiting until a year later that we get a bill and we get a surprise. So there's a lot more information that's going to be available to us earlier, which is better.
Great.
So this is different. You're correct. This is different from our other high school contracts. There is a clause in the Putnam Valley contract that we will pay for some special education, like it's like a 10 if you're in a 12-1-1.
Yeah, it's for this full-time special classes.
Yes.
That we will pay an additional amount for.
We have not had that billing or conversation issue with either of our other two high schools at this time.
Well, I appreciate Greg, you pushing with Carl and getting this done.
Okay. Yeah, I think Carl did a wonderful job explaining kind of the position the Garrison is in, and I think we wanted to just be reasonable about it. So I think this is a good step towards that direction. So I want to thank Carl for his partnership.
Hopefully he's watching tonight.
It's probably just feeling very sad.
You can always invite him to the next meeting.
He's welcome to these.
Yep. So what are the, all right, do I have any other questions or comments on the new business items as presented? It's a lot of them, but if there are any other questions. All right, Dan, you're good? Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and move to a vote then. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? All right. So that brings us to the last public comment section. I'm not going to read the paragraph again, so no one is here. So we're going to go ahead and move on to board member comment and other discussion. I'll begin with Eric.
Yeah, just briefly, just excited to serve with you all. And thanks to the community for their support. Not like much of a choice, but thanks to the or special recognition to the 4 extra people who voted for Pete over my total, so which is fine. I think there's one more for Jennifer over me, too. So it's all right. I'm okay. But no, just a quick thanks to board members past and present who've just been really generous with their time and their wisdom and their advice before my swearing in. I really appreciate it. This is far less scary than I thought it was going to be, especially since there's nobody here tonight, but so that helps. But just,
audience, please.
yeah. But lastly, just a heartfelt welcome to Greg. Really excited to work with you. Thank you for coming here. And then just a quick congrats to Mr. Yap on his new position. Big congrats to Ms. Arbor. I know that this is, knowing her, this is really just the beginning for her. She's probably not going to stop at the green ribbon. I can't wait to see where she goes next. But But all of that, the generosity of board members past and present with their time, Greg arriving here, Ms. Arbor, it just, shows what a special place Garrison is. So I'm just really excited to, contribute as much as I can. So thank you.
You're welcome. Jennifer?
So welcome to Eric and Peter. Congratulations, Greg. You've almost survived your first meeting. I was also very pleased to see that our board did not have a contested seat. I was running for president, vice president. You've been watching some local board meetings. Not all boards have been like that. And then finally, I just wanted to share.
That was Sarah.
Yeah, I feel that was Sarah. I should have been texting you last night. So some of you may be aware that James and I have been colleagues for more than 2 decades. And I distinctly remember one of our initial conversations when James enthusiastically discussed with me the innovative concept of students learning on a virtual private island, embodying avatars within a new platform called Second Life. This was almost 20 years ago. From that moment, it was clear to me that James possessed a vision for teaching and learning that was truly exceptional. As a member of our community and later as a board member, I was delighted when James joined us at Garrison. I believe that through his efforts, especially in securing the Green Ribbon Award, James has significantly elevated our district's trajectory. While the students and teachers were the ones who completed an impressive amount of work, James worked diligently behind the scenes, meticulously crafting and refining every detail of the grant application. So James, I extend my best wishes to you, and I eagerly anticipate witnessing the future accomplishments of Elmsford as a result of it. Come on. Thank you, ChatGPT.
It sounded so harsh.
Sounded so good, right?
I love it. Dan, you got a top
It's
thought?
only fitting that use ChatGPT.
I would just echo Jen's very articulate comments. Thank you, James, for everything you've done for the district and for particularly helping us get the green ribbon and everything you've done on the environmental education side of things. We will miss you and good luck in Elmsford.
Thank you, Dan.
Dan's having a party for, right?
I know. Peter?
Yeah, I want to second a lot of what Eric said. Just thank you all for having me here. It's an honor and privilege to serve. And thank you in advance for putting up with my many questions that I'm going to have. I'm not afraid to ask the dumb question. Thank you for that. And just look forward to learning from all of you. Thank you for your time. I've met with just about everyone, or at least the board members, one-on-one. And it's been great to learn from their wisdom and get their good advice. So yeah, I'm excited to work with Eric, who I've known for a little while now, and let's do this together with a friend. So I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. So thanks.
Thank you.
I hate being last. I wish Spicer was still here. So it's after. So
I'll say something. I'll speak.
no, welcome, Greg. It's great to have you on board so far. So the group is very excited for just the things you've started doing. And we're really looking forward to getting going. And welcome to you guys as well. It's a responsibility to take on, and it's not something that I think either of you guys take lightly, and it really shows your commitment to the community. So everybody appreciates you. James, I'll repeat a little bit what they said, but you've done an amazing job. You stepped into the role in a non-conventional way. Really, you have a tactic of gusto. You're a guy that never comes from a place of no. You always say yes, and how can we do it better? It was a pleasure serving with you on the planning committee, hearing about a lot of your great ideas, and obviously all the great things you did with Green Ribbon won't be forgotten around here. So you'll be missed, and we look forward to seeing what you do next. Wish you the best of luck.
All right, well, I will end with a comment then. Congratulations. I hope we prepared you for all the hats and that many long title you have in that wonderful district. I can't wait to watch it work. I will add it to my list. Great question. I want to welcome our new members and just reiterate that I think I mentioned this in one of our sessions, but I really firmly believe it that when you join a board, we all have equal votes here, and there is no matter how long you've served from the day you start. Wave your hands, everybody. From the day you start on the board, your vote carries the same weight. So ask all the questions you need to ask. There are no stupid questions. If you haven't noticed, I think maybe our meetings were a little longer than some of the other districts. I do believe in explaining to the public what's going on. And you're right now the closest to what the public perception of the school and the district is, because there's a lot of stuff we know that we perhaps forget to share, like acronyms or something like that. Maybe somebody at home, because people do watch our meetings. I'm convinced of it. But maybe there is something that they don't know. So please ask away, reach out with any questions you might have. And then on your note, Ken, just to end on this, we did have a conversation when Matt was on the board about how we always went the same order for board comments. So Matt offered to then make sure that we swap between starting at the bottom or the top, but then Matt never could remember what we did in the last meeting. So if you want to take that on again, it's totally up to you. We can start at the bottom, just keep swapping back and forth.
I'm gonna make a color-coded calendar where we're gonna switch the word every month.
Go for it. Just, yeah. All right, on that note, we're gonna end, and we do have executive session. So Dan, before I read this though, and we adjourn to it, you're welcome to join us in executive session. We'll figure out how to read you in. You have to leave the public place you're in and now get to the private place. Because you can't.
Okay, I will leave this hotel lobby.
But first, let's
I'll probably need about 10 minutes, but I'll dial in. Will you send me a new link?
I can put you on speaker. You want a link sent?
Link or speaker is fine.
Speaker sent? All right, I'll just call you and or call me in 10 minutes and I'll put you on speakerphone, okay?
Okay, super.
Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby enters into executive session for the purpose of discussing the school history of a particular student in accordance with their FERPA rights, discussing matters made exempt by FERPA, and discussing matters leading to the appointment of a particular person or corporation. May I have a motion, please? Thank you. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. We will adjourn executive session with no further action being taken. We can find out. This is it for you, right?